Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakaha Gwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure unto the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling a little bit of this article from Reuters.com titled, Putin Ally, We Are Probably on Verge of a New World War. And hey, according to the scriptures, it's not a probability, but it's an inevitability. World War III will take place and it will go nuclear. And the two main combatants will be the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great, and Russia, which in the scriptures is known as Gog in Ezekiel 38, and the North Country in Jeremiah chapter 50. And with information like this just constantly coming out, it just goes to show us how close we are to these final prophecies we're diligently waiting for taking place. An ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday that the world was probably, inevitably, on the verge of a new world war and the risks of a nuclear confrontation were rising. The world is sick and quite probably is on the verge of a new world war, Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Putin's powerful Security Council, told a conference in Moscow. He said such a new world war was not inevitable. Is inevitable, but the risks of a nuclear confrontation were growing and more serious than concerns about climate change. And hey, best believe once those nukes start flying, you're going to see a form of climate change take place. But that's it with this article, and that's the main point. Now let's show the inevitability of a third world war and the fact that it will go nuclear. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, referring to World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter, World War II, which is past, and World War III, which is quickly coming upon us, as we can clearly see with everything taking place in the news. The Russian war in Ukraine, the talks of China going to war against Taiwan, the state of Israel going to war against Iran, and just talks of nuclear weapons and threats to use them every other day. And not only is that third woe mentioned once in the scriptures, it's mentioned twice in, I believe it's Revelation chapter 11. Let's just go to the chapter. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe, World War II, is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Now I'm going to go to, I know it's in Isaiah chapter 9. Isaiah chapter 9. This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Talking about these major wars in the past, where what did you see? Men going into battle with swords and shields, bows and arrows. And even during World War I and World War II, you had men, besides using those rifles, putting bayonets on them and getting into close quarters combat, that ancient way of fighting. But as it's about to say, this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, talking about that third woe and those nuclear missiles that are going to be used during it, that are going to be shot to the ends of the earth. This is 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 10. And the header reads, a new heaven and earth, because that's what these nuclear missiles are going to bring in, a new heaven or a new rulership and a new earth. which just means a refreshed Earth, because these nuclear missiles are going to burn up a lot of these wicked people out here, and a lot of these wicked environmental catastrophes that have been taking place. And then from the ashes, that new Earth is going to grow forth. The Earth is going to go back to being in the state as it was during the Garden of Eden. In this case, even better than the Garden of Eden. And that new heaven is going to be the kingdom of heaven under the children of Israel being established. The true children of Israel, known today as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this old heaven is going to go away, because in the scriptures, heaven and hell can be symbolic for conditions. When you're in your heaven, you're in rulership, like the biblical Edomites or so-called white people today are, while the children of Israel are in their hell, being second-class citizens, being captive under these heathens. But once these nukes start flying, there's going to be a role reversal. You heathens, beginning with the Edomites, are going to be in your hell, while the children of Israel are going to come into their heaven, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, the end of Esau's and these other heathens' rulerships, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And what's going to melt the elements with fervent heat and burn up the works in the earth? Those nuclear tipped ICBMs being shot to the ends of the earth. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? To the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel out there, what spirit should you be in, seeing that all these end times prophecies are beginning to come to their fulfillment? Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High. We should be in the spirit of this should have happened yesterday. We should be diligently waiting for and hoping that these prophecies come to their fulfillment that much more quickly. Because when these heavens of the heathens, chiefly the Edomites, pass away, after these nukes start flying, that's when our heaven begins, when we're going to be ruling and at peace for eternity, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Again, in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, but this war shall be fought with fuel and flames of fire. This is Joel chapter 2. I'm going to read verses 1 to 6. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, which is exactly what the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS are doing, by going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, blowing the trumpet to let the elect of the nation of Israel know what times we're living in, and to also tell the wicked of our people who don't want to come back to their power but want to live like these heathens, as well as these heathen nations as well, that horrific judgment is coming for all the wickedness you've been committing. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And remember, that third woe cometh quickly, back in Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, referring to those nuclear missiles, there had not been ever the like, talking about how they came about very recently, beginning with those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during that second woe, World War II. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Because when these nuclear missiles are fired, every single one's going to be used, and after the dust settles, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, along with the 144,000 of the elect of the nation of Israel with those new spiritual bodies, are going to start enslaving you heathen nations, beginning with the elites. And we're not going to allow you to build weapons of war anymore. Abaratazah, I am of that number. Verse 3, a fire devoureth before them, speaking of the nuclear warhead at the front of the missile, and behind them a flame burneth, that rocket booster at the back of the missile. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. The land is normal. You have cities and parks, people, animals, life going on as usual, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. Once those nuclear missiles hit their targets, the land is made desolate, like Mad Max or Fallout, or any other post-apocalyptic movie you can think about. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. And this is the prophet Joel describing the missiles the best way he could when he saw these visions thousands of years ago as chariots and soldiers and horses, because they didn't know what a nuclear missile was or anything like that back then, because they were in the ancient times. Verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, or ash, or soot. These people getting burned up by these nuclear missiles. Like I also said at the beginning of the video, the two main combatants during this third woe is going to be the United States of America and Russia. And Russia, along with her allies, and even the allies of the United States of America, which at some point during World War III are going to turn against her and ally themselves with Russia, are going to overtake the U.S. and wipe her off the face of the earth with those nukes. This is Jeremiah chapter 50. I'm going to start at verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, that north country, Russia, because what's north of the U.S., Canada, that Arctic Ocean region, and then Russia. And over the last couple of years, Russia has been heavily building back up its military presence, nuclear capable in that Arctic Ocean region. And it's a well-known fact that Russia shooting missiles from itself across the north, as well as from its assets in that Arctic Ocean region to the north to reach its targets in the U.S. is the shortest trajectory time it would take for those missiles to reach the U.S. And a great nation and many kings, many different countries shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, from the ends of the earth. Not only Russia's allies like China, Iran, or North Korea, but also America's own allies, these European NATO nations, which, like I just said, at some point during World War III are going to turn against her and ally themselves with Russia to shoot those nukes onto the U.S. 200 million to be exact. Just read Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns referring to the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO. These shall hate the whore, the United States of America, which at the beginning of the chapter it says that whore that rides upon the beast is known as Babylon, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. These shall hate the whore and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, nuclear fire. They shall hold the bow and the lance, again referring to those nuclear missiles and what a bow shoot, arrows. So this is talking about the missile silos and other launch platforms that these missiles are going to be fired from. And a lance is what? It looks like a long sword or an arrow. So that missile, they are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon, that virgin daughter of Babylon. And when you go to Psalms chapter 137, started around verse 7 to 9, you'll see that the Edomites are synonymous with the daughter of Babylon. But now I'm going to jump up to verse 40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof. And besides being known as the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great in the scriptures, the United States is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8. And it should be self-evident why the U.S. is known as spiritual Sodom. This is the number one nation that pushes that lifestyle, the A, B, C, D, E, F, Gs, onto the rest of the planet. I just read an article that a brother posted saying that amongst Gen Z, a poll was done showing that there's a growing number of high school students that identify with that lifestyle. And how did the Most High overthrow ancient Sodom and Gomorrah with fire and brimstone from the sky? And he's going to overthrow this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah with modern fire and brimstone, those nuclear missiles. Saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. When those 200 million nuclear missiles hit this place, it's going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland where man, woman, or child will never set foot on ever again. And after a time, only desert creatures are going to dwell here, as it says in verse 39. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. And when everything's said and done, the former United States of America is going to stand as an eternal memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looked like and how not to govern the earth, and what the judgment and punishment was for afflicting the apple of the Most High's eye, the children of Israel, again known as you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites, primarily from the United States of America. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.